Alright, so first off, I'm not even sure if this is the right place to post. I usually just hang around and read everyone else's drama, but I really need to get this off my chest. Honestly, what in the actual hell happened? Have you ever had one of those moments where you're looking around like, am I seriously the only one seeing this? If you've been there, let me know because I swear I started the night thinking maybe I was just being paranoid. But by the end of it, I genuinely wanted to body slam someone. And no, that's not a joke. So a little background. I'm Jenna, 25, hi. My boyfriend or maybe boyfriend at this point, Tyler, 26, and I have been living together for about 26 months now. We've been dating almost 3 years if you can still call it that. It wasn't some sweet, romantic, let's move in together because we're in love thing. It was practical. His lease ran out, and my apartment was falling apart. And not gonna lie, I thought it might be fun at first. And yeah, it was for a little while. Then it slowly stopped being fun. I'll circle back to that. So anyway, this past weekend we got invited to a party. Wasn't even our friends throwing it. It was Monica's daughter. Monica's our landlord. She goes, hey, you two are always super chill about rent stuff, you should come hang out. Now, I've only met Monica face to face once. She mostly sends group texts to remind us about rent. But Tyler? He's immediately all over it. Says it'll be good for networking. For what, I have no clue. He says that about every random event. Like, dude, you're not running for Congress. But whatever, I said, sure. I hadn't been out in weeks and figured at the very least there'd be free snacks. If it sucked, I could just leave early. So we show up and it's actually a lot nicer than I expected. Not rich people fancy, but there's real glassware and someone already has a Spotify playlist going on a Bluetooth speaker that doesn't sound like it got fished out of a toilet, which is rare for these kinds of things. But right away, something felt off. Monica's wearing this velvet top that looks seriously expensive and it's clear everyone knows each other, except us. Meanwhile, Tyler is acting like he's the star of his own late-night talk show. He's all over the place, touching people's shoulders, laughing way too loud, nudging me like I'm supposed to jump in and schmooze. I was just there for the chips. So I'm wandering around, chatting with Monica about how the shower pressure in our place sucks and how the dryer makes this weird noise. Meanwhile, I notice Tyler already has drink number 2 in his hand and I'm still working on my first. I joke, like, going hard for a Saturday, huh? And he just shrugs and says something like, gotta relax after a week of dealing with your nagging, without even cracking a smile. That one stung. I tried to brush it off, he's always got some smart-ass comment. But lately his jabs have been sharper. I know I can be a bit of a stickler about things, but if I don't remind him to pay bills, guess who Monica texts? Spoiler alert. Not him. About half an hour in, I realize I've been trailing him around like I'm on cleanup duty. He's deep in conversation with these 2 guys I barely recognize, and I hear him say, oh yeah, Jenna's super helpful. I couldn't keep my place clean if she wasn't around. But the way he said it? It didn't sound like a compliment. It sounded like he was making fun of me. I tried to let that one slide too, but then he keeps going, something about how he never worries about rent because he's got his own built-in accountant. The guys chuckled, but it was that weird, half-confused laugh. I shot him a look. He winked at me. So I headed to the kitchen for another drink. But by now I was getting seriously annoyed. I should probably explain, Tyler is one of those guys who jokes in a way that's just mean. And if I ever call him out, he goes, relax, it's just a joke. Why are you so sensitive? But the jokes are always about stuff I do for him or stuff I forget. And he never lets it go. Like, he'll still bring up the time I accidentally shrunk his hoodie like it's his personal sitcom gag. But if I remind him of something he did, suddenly that's ancient history. So yeah, I'm standing there watching him drink more and more, texting my friend Riley under the table like, please distract me before I throw this chip at his head. It's probably close to 12 at this point. Most folks are tipsy, but Tyler is absolutely wasted. I try to hand him some water and he straight up ignores me. Starts getting louder like he's putting on a show for the crowd. Monica sits down next to me and quietly asks, is he always like this? I just shrug. She looks uncomfortable. I mumble something like, he's had a rough week, which, let's be real, was a dumb excuse. His rough week was him leaving wet laundry in the washer until everything reeked of mildew. That's on him. Then someone brings up living with partners and worst household chores and Tyler decides this is his time to shine. He stands up like he's making a toast, drink in hand, and says, you want to know what it's like living with Jenna? She's basically my maid with benefits. Cleans the toilet, pays the bills, but she's way too boring for anything else. Yeah. He said that. Out loud. in front of everyone. Everything just froze. Monica's face said it all like, did he really just say that? A couple of his buddies laughed, but it was that awkward please don't make eye contact kind of laugh. I got up. Didn't say anything. Just started walking toward the hallway. And Tyler? This guy grabs my wrist. Not hard, but enough to stop me. And he pulls this stunt like, oh look, she's leaving. Sit down, Jenna, come on. Then he waves my purse in the air and says she doesn't even have the guts to walk out. Pathetic, right? And some people, not everyone, but enough, actually laughed. My face burned. Monica was staring at the floor. I pulled my wrist back. He didn't let go at first, so I yanked it free. It wasn't gentle. I just stood there for a second, frozen. I didn't want to make it worse, but I also wasn't about to cry in front of everyone. So I sat back down, took my purse from him and kept it on my lap. He stayed standing there, still trying to get more laughs. But the mood was dying fast. I barely moved for the rest of the night. I sat there scrolling my phone, pretending to text when really I was just staring at my lock screen, thinking about all the times I picked up his slack, covered for his late payments, did his dishes because he forgot. And I felt like a complete idiot. This is the same guy who used to bring me coffee in bed and say how much he appreciated me. Now I'm just the punchline in some lame Maid joke. Eventually, a couple people came over and awkwardly asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. Just tired. Monica sat down next to me again and quietly said, you don't have to stay, you know. But I shook my head. I didn't want to make a scene. Tyler was still hovering near the front door like he was guarding it. At one point, he was leaned up against the wall, thumbing through his phone. And I saw him typing something on Instagram. I'm pretty sure he was messaging his group chat the whole time, probably calling me crazy or saying I was being dramatic. I wanted to leave so badly, but every time I stood up, there he was suddenly blocking the way like it was on purpose. At one point, Monica tried to squeeze past him so she could let her dog out, and he just stood there, ignoring her completely. She actually had to shove him aside to get through. He stumbled a little, almost dropped his phone, then got all huffy with her for pushing him. She just looked at him and told him to move. Watching that happen, I had this moment where I realized, okay, it's not just me. He really is like this. Always needing the spotlight, always needing to be the loudest one in the room. And if he thinks no one's paying attention to him, he'll find a way to suck everyone into his drama. Now that I was really watching him, it was all so obvious. Meanwhile, my phone kept buzzing nonstop. Riley was texting to check on me, asking if I was okay. I told her I was fine and that I'd call her later. Then I started getting messages from my mom, which was strange because she never texts that late. She wanted to know if I was stopping by the next day. I almost replied just to have an excuse to leave, any excuse, but I didn't want to stir anything up in front of these people. I knew if I even tried to leave, Tyler would find a way to make it a thing. So I sat tight. Eventually it was around 4 a.m. and folks were finally heading out. I grabbed my coat and quietly walked to the door. Tyler was standing there with his arms folded, just staring at me like he was daring me to say something. I didn't. I walked right past him. He muttered something under his breath, no idea what, probably more of the same garbage. I stepped out onto the porch and stood there for a second, just trying to breathe. That's when Monica came outside holding my charger. I'd left it plugged in. She looked like she wanted to say something, but instead she just handed me the charger and told me to text her if the dryer got worse. I nodded, said thanks and left. The walk home took about 10 minutes and I spent every step replaying everything that happened. When I got to the apartment, I went straight to bed. Didn't say a single word when Tyler came in after me and slammed the door like I was the problem. He didn't even look my way. Just kicked off his shoes and went to the bathroom. I laid there in bed, scrolling Reddit and typing all of this into my notes app because I didn't want to forget any of it. So yeah, that was my Saturday night. And to be totally honest, I'm so mad I'm shaking. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do next, but I know one thing, I'm not just going to pretend none of it happened. First update. Alright, I didn't think I'd be back this soon. But a bunch of you asked for the next part, and honestly, writing it out is keeping me from throwing my phone through the window. I'm still way too pissed to do anything productive. I've had maybe 4 hours of sleep and I'm riding the anxiety train on nothing but a giant iced coffee which isn't helping my nerves. Okay. So, I woke up the morning after that disaster of a party and checked my phone. It was flooded. Like, 34 missed calls from Tyler's parents, and a bunch of texts from his mom saying stuff like, "Please call us, are you okay? Can we talk about Tyler?" Even a missed FaceTime from his sister. I just set my phone on silent and stared at the ceiling for a while. I couldn't even bring myself to deal with it. Tyler was passed out on the couch, which is weird because he never sleeps out there unless he's trying to be dramatic. I guess he just conked out after stumbling home. I walked past him to grab some cereal and he mumbled something and rolled over. The kitchen was disgusting, by the way. Still had Solo cups from last weekend, the sink was full of his dirty dishes and the counters were sticky from the time he tried to make homemade margaritas and ended up coating everything in sugar. It looked like a toddler's birthday party had exploded in there and no one bothered to clean up. I just stood there staring at the mess and thought, I'm the only one who ever takes care of this place. Every damn time. I couldn't even remember the last time he took out the trash without me reminding him. He always claims he just doesn't notice messes, but somehow he's quick to spot the one thing I missed. I sat down with my coffee, just trying to figure out what to do next. I could leave. I could text Monica and tell her he's on his own for rent from now on. I could pack a bag and crash at my mom's or at Riley's place for a bit. But here's the thing, I don't want to just disappear. I want him to feel it. I want him to look around and see what happens when I'm not cleaning up after him, covering his rent, managing the bills. I want him to see what I actually do around here because clearly he never has. And after last night? I'm not interested in being the bigger person. I'm pissed and I'm embracing it. So I opened my notes app and started making a list. Every single thing I've paid for. Every time I covered his half of the rent. Every bill I set up. Every cleaning product I bought. Every time he forgot something at the store and I just picked it up for him. The list was long. Like, scroll for a minute long. Toilet paper. Paper towels. Swiffer refills. Laundry cards. Light bulbs. Trash bags. That dumb scented candle he loves. All of it. I even found Venmo receipts from last year when he couldn't access his account, and I paid the internet bill for 3 months straight. Never paid me back. Just kept saying, I'll get it next time. Right. And the more I looked through it, the angrier I got. So I started taking photos around the apartment, all the stuff that's mine. The couch? Mine. The TV? Bought that myself. The plates, the silverware, the microwave, the bed sheets, all me. The only things in this place that are his are this ugly-ass lamp he got from his parents, and a broken kettle he swears he's going to fix and never does. I started mentally sorting things into piles. What can I carry without needing a moving truck? What do I even care about taking? What can disappear that he won't even notice is gone? I texted Riley and asked if I could borrow her car next weekend. She just sent back a middle finger emoji and a love you. God, I love her. I ignored Tyler all morning. Around noon, he shuffled into the kitchen looking like roadkill, poured himself a giant glass of water, and started dramatically rubbing his temples like he was the victim. I just sat there on my phone, didn't even pretend I was going to cook for him. After a while, he tried to make conversation. Said he didn't really remember much from the party. I looked at him and said, you said enough. He blinked, looked confused for a second, then got defensive. Come on, he said. You know I was just joking. Everyone jokes like that. I didn't say a word. Just stared at him. He got annoyed and stormed back to the couch. Meanwhile, my mom called again. Wanted to know if I was still coming to dinner. She could tell something was off, but I told her I wasn't feeling great. Said I'd text her later. She asked if Tyler was coming too. I just laughed. She didn't push it. Just told me to call if I needed anything. Honestly, I should have told her everything right then and there. But I didn't want to hear the "we told you so" speech. Parents don't let that stuff go. Tyler spent the rest of the afternoon glued to his phone, scrolling TikTok and texting his friends. I heard him laughing a couple times, but then he got super quiet. I peeked over and saw he was in a group chat with Zach and Jordan, his two best friends from college. They were talking about how awkward the party was. One of them said Monica looked pissed. Tyler just replied, she'll get over it. She always does. I took a screenshot. Not for blackmail or anything, just IDK. Proof that even he knows he was being a jerk. Around 6 o'clock, I started packing up. Not everything, just the small stuff. My chargers, makeup, favorite hoodie, headphones, a few books, my laptop. Things I knew he wouldn't even notice were gone. I tucked it all into a bag, tossed it in my car, and walked back inside. He didn't even ask where I was going. Just said, grab some chips if you stop by the store. I slammed the door on my way out. I sat in my car for a moment, trying to breathe. Then I drove to Riley's and dropped off the bag. She didn't ask a single question, just handed me a soda and turned on some music. God, I almost cried right there. But I didn't. When I got back, Tyler was in full gamer mode, yelling at some kid online about camping and respawning. I went straight to the bedroom and started going through the closet. Half the clothes in there were mine, but his stuff? All balled up on the floor like usual. I quietly folded my clothes into a laundry bag. He walked in and asked what I was doing. I said laundry. He just shrugged and wandered off back to his game. Later, I made dinner, just for myself. When he came into the kitchen, he asked where his was. I told him, make your own. And he pouted. Like, full-on child mode pout. I walked right past him and shut myself in the bedroom. That night, I texted Monica. Asked if she was alright after everything that happened at the party. She said she was mostly just embarrassed for everyone. She also apologized, said she was sorry I had to deal with Tyler, and to let her know if I ever needed anything apartment-related. I asked if she thought her dad would let Tyler stay if I moved out. She replied, well, you're not on the lease, right? I said, nope. Just him. Back when we moved in, he told me he'd handle the paperwork. Said it'd be less complicated that way. So yeah, just his name on the lease. Monica said that means he's the one responsible for the rent. I replied, good to know. She sent back a thumbs up emoji. Honestly, that message alone made me feel a little better. Next morning, I started moving out more of my things. Tyler barely noticed. He was too busy arguing with Jordan about fantasy football and whining about the Wi-Fi. I unplugged everything that belonged to me. Router, I pay for it. Coffee maker. Kitchen knives. My blender. The throw pillows. The air fryer. All mine. I left all of his junk, his old laptop, his broken gaming chair, and that massive tangle of wires he keeps saying he'll organize someday. I texted Riley and asked if she could swing by to help with the heavier stuff. She pulled up around 3. We packed her car full of boxes. Tyler came out and asked what we were doing. I said moving some things. He just nodded and went back inside, like it didn't matter. I left the big essentials for the next day: bed, dresser, bathroom stuff. I figured I'd swing by when he was at the gym. He goes every Tuesday at 6 like clockwork. Posts a sweaty mirror selfie on Snapchat every time. I texted Monica and told her I'd be out by the weekend. She said, just let me know if there are any problems. I told her I'd leave my keys in the mailbox that night. Tyler kept pretending everything was normal. Asked if I wanted to watch a movie. I said, no thanks. He pouted. Again. I almost laughed. Then he started complaining about how empty the kitchen was. I told him maybe you should go grocery shopping. He looked at me and said, why are you being like this? I said, you know what you did. He rolled his eyes and walked off. I slammed the bathroom door and stayed in there for like 25 or 30 minutes. My mom called again. I finally answered and told her I was moving out. She just said, oh honey. Not even surprised. Then she asked if I needed help. I said, maybe, but Riley's got it covered. She asked if I wanted to stay with her for a while. I said, maybe. I think I'll be okay. She said, all right. Just let me know. I almost told her everything right then, but I didn't. Now here's where it gets good. Next day, Tyler leaves for the gym right on schedule. I text Riley, she comes over, and we grab the rest of my stuff. I leave a note on the counter with a list of everything he owes me from the last year: rent, bills, groceries, cleaning supplies. The works. At the bottom I wrote, your turn to pay. Don't forget the toilets. I dropped my keys in the mailbox. Took one last look at the place. It felt empty, not just physically, but like the air had been sucked out. It looked messy, half abandoned. And for a second I felt guilty. But then I remembered him holding up my purse and calling me pathetic. That snapped me right out of it. I walked away without looking back. Headed to Riley's. She handed me a drink and we spent the night watching dumb YouTube videos. My mom texted to say she was proud of me. I didn't respond right away. I just needed to be alone for a bit. Later that night, my phone blew up with texts from Tyler. He was furious. Accused me of blindsiding him. Said I was selfish for dumping all the bills on him. Said he couldn't believe I'd do this to him. I didn't answer. He called. I ignored it. He called again. And again. So I blocked him. Then I blocked his mom. His sister. Jordan and Zach, too, just in case. I texted Monica to let her know I was officially out. She replied, thanks for the update. I asked if Tyler had paid rent yet. She said, not yet. I said, good luck with that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm out. I'm done. And I left him with a mess he can't just brush off. He always wanted to be in charge, the guy who never does anything wrong. Now he gets to clean up after himself. In every way. And no, I'm not saying I'm completely done. If he wants to play games, I can play too. But for now, I'm letting him stew in it. Maybe this time, he'll realize who the real problem was. Let me know if you want more updates. Something tells me this story isn't over. Bonus update. Okay, not gonna lie, I didn't think I'd be writing again this fast. But y'all keep asking for updates, and truthfully, things have gotten messier than I expected. Also, I kinda need a place to vent. Because if I keep yelling in the group chat, Riley's gonna show up at my door with a bottle and a baseball bat, and honestly, I'm not sure if she'd use it on Tyler or me. Right after I left, I thought Tyler would ghost. Maybe talk trash behind my back and then move on. But nope. He went full soap opera. I hadn't even finished unpacking at Riley's before the first angry text came through. Then another. In all caps. He was claiming I set him up, saying I ruined his life. His parents were blowing up his phone, panicking because they thought I was missing. Now they won't stop calling him, demanding to know what happened. And I'm just sitting there thinking, buddy, maybe you should have thought about that before you stood in a room full of people and called me your maid. I ignored all of it. I'm not giving him the attention he's clearly begging for. Riley kept telling me to block him, which I already had, but then he started using other numbers. Started DMing me on Instagram. Then Facebook, which I hadn't opened in over a year. I left all of it on unread. I think he thought I'd come back just to get him to shut up. But nope. Not this time. What I didn't expect. How fast the money problems caught up to him. Monica texted me maybe 3 days after I left, asking if I knew when Tyler was planning to pay rent. I just sent Monica a screenshot of Tyler's last, "I'll get it next time," text and told her, not my circus anymore. She replied with a string of laughing emojis and a simple, yikes. Turns out, Tyler had told her I'd cover for him if there were any rent issues, which is honestly hilarious, considering I'd literally just told her I was out. I guess he really thought I'd keep running errands for him from a distance. Now here's where it gets spicy, the group chat drama. A little background, Tyler and I were in this shared group chat with some of his friends, Jordan, Zach, Nina, and a few of their girlfriends. Mostly it was dumb memes, party invites, or arguing over what to order for takeout. I hadn't said much in there for a while, but I decided, you know what? If he's gonna try and spin this like I'm the villain, I'm not staying quiet. So I sent a message. Calm, no rage, just facts. Hey, since Tyler keeps saying I abandoned him, here are all the rent receipts. Here's the list of stuff I paid for. And here are screenshots of his Maid with benefits joke and the text where he said he had me trained. Not trying to start anything, just clearing the air. And that chat blew up. A couple of the guys jumped in trying to defend him, saying he was just drunk and didn't mean it. Nina spoke up and said she always felt like he treated me badly and she was glad I finally left. Jordan accused me of being dramatic. I just dropped a picture of the note I left on the kitchen counter, the one with the full list of everything Tyler owed me for the year. Silence. For like an hour. Eventually, Zach messaged me privately, asked if I was okay or needed help with anything else. I told him I was good, but thanks. He said Tyler was going through a rough time. I didn't answer. Meanwhile, Monica told me her dad had gotten involved because Tyler missed rent for the first time ever. And apparently, Tyler tried to throw the blame on me, which, good luck with that, buddy. My name's not even on the lease. Monica said her dad was ticked and told Tyler he had 1 week to pay up or get out. I could picture Tyler trying to smooth talk his way out of it, flashing that fake charm. But this time it wasn't working. Outside of all this, I was trying to stay grounded. I spent a few days sleeping on Riley's couch, joking about sending Tyler an invoice for Maid services. My mom called every day asking if I was okay. I told her I was fine, even though she kept offering to bring groceries or pick me up. I finally went over to her place for dinner and she made lasagna. Didn't even say I told you so. Which, not gonna lie, is basically her version of a hug. Tyler, meanwhile, tried texting Riley, asking if she could talk some sense into me. She hit him with a single reply. Don't ever text me again. Then she blocked him. I love her for that. He tried Zach next, but Zach just left him on read. Jordan tried calling me. I let it go to voicemail. He left a long, rambling message about how Tyler is in a bad place and how everyone makes mistakes. I deleted it without listening to the whole thing. I'm not getting guilt-tripped into fixing his mess. And honestly, the social pressure's starting to work. People aren't buying his, per me, act anymore. Monica said her dad's over it and ready to start showing the place to new tenants if Tyler doesn't pay up by Friday. That's in 3 days. I won't lie, there's some satisfaction in that. For over a year I was the one quietly keeping everything together. Cleaning, paying bills, smoothing things over with Monica, covering for Tyler with his parents. Now he's the one who has to own it. And he's floundering. Best part? There are actual consequences now. Monica's dad isn't being mean, he's just running his business. If Tyler doesn't pay, he's out. Simple as that. Zach told me Tyler has been trying to borrow money from everyone, but nobody's biting. They all know he never pays anyone back. Even Jordan, who used to hype him up nonstop, said he's got bills of his own. Nina messaged me privately to say she was sorry she didn't see it sooner, how badly he treated me. I just told her it's alright. I'm good now. Then I get a text from Tyler's mom from a number I didn't recognize since I blocked her old one. She asked if I could help Tyler, just this once for old time's sake. Said he's struggling and doesn't know how to keep up with everything. I replied with 3 words. I'm not his maid. She didn't respond. And I know it's petty, but I'm not sorry. A couple days after I moved out, Monica let me into the apartment one last time to grab the rest of my stuff, a box of books and my old blender. Tyler never used it, but he insisted we keep it, just in case. Of course he was there. And of course he had something to say. Told me I ruined his life. Said I didn't have to make it all public. I just looked him in the eye and said, you did that yourself. When he tried to block the hallway and keep me from leaving, I pushed past him. He slammed the door behind me. Monica rolled her eyes and said, he's not your problem anymore. And she was right. As I walked out with my box, I realized something. So much of his behavior wasn't just immaturity, it was entitlement. He genuinely believed I'd always be there. That I'd always clean up after him, pay his bills, fix his messes, and laugh at his jokes, no matter how mean they got. He used to say I was good at keeping things together. But what he really meant was he didn't want to do any of it. And when I finally stopped, he panicked. And instead of owning up, he tried to paint me as the bad guy. But now he's stuck. He's got no one else to blame. And every time he tries to drag my name through the mud, it just blows up in his face. People are seeing through it. Even his parents, the ones who used to call me for everything. Jenna, did you remind Tyler to call his grandma? Jenna, did Tyler find his insurance card? They're realizing I'm not their problem solver anymore. And I'm not being cruel, I'm just done. If anything else wild happens, I'll post again. But honestly, I think this is the beginning of Tyler finally dealing with the fallout of his own actions. And if you're reading this and you're the Jenna in your relationship, let me just say this. You don't owe anyone your peace of mind. You don't owe anyone your credit score. You don't owe anyone your silence. Last update. Alright, this'll probably be my last update unless something truly unhinged happens. Because to be honest, I'm exhausted. I need to move on and get back to living my life. But I promise one final wrap-up. And honestly, this part is kind of a lot. So if you're still here, thank you. For the support. The DMs. The girls' same comments. All of it. I'm not used to strangers rooting for me online, it's weirdly comforting. After my last post, I was mostly waiting to see if Tyler would actually pay his rent, or get kicked out. And to be real with you, I didn't think he'd go quietly. I wasn't wrong. But before we get to that, let me tell you the weirdest part, his parents. The morning after I officially moved out, I still had that stack of 30+ missed calls from his mom, dad, even his sister, using her old number for some reason. I ignored them. At first it was satisfying. But I'm not gonna lie, after a while I started to feel a little petty. Like maybe I should at least text back something like, I'm alive. Leave me alone. But then, around noon, my phone lit up again. The same numbers started calling again, but now it was voicemails. Long ones. His mom, sounding frantic, begging me to please talk to her. Said Tyler wasn't eating, couldn't sleep, that he'd never been like this before. I listened to about half a message, rolled my eyes, and deleted it. Look, I'm not heartless. But I'm not his therapist. I'm not his mom. And I'm definitely not his maid. And then, this is the part that nearly made me throw my phone across the room, she started texting my mom. My actual mother. I guess she still had her number from some holiday dinner years ago. I found out because my mom called me, sounding kind of hesitant, like, hey, is everything okay? Then she tells me Tyler's mom said he can't pay rent and needs me to come back and talk some sense into him. My mom sounded tired, like maybe she was expecting me to say I was getting back with him. I told her flat out, nope. I'm done. He's on his own. And please don't answer her messages anymore. She just said, okay, and then asked if I needed her to bring over groceries. Meanwhile, Tyler kept calling, switching between angry and pitiful. 1 minute it was, you ruined my life, and the next it was, please come back, I'll change. I didn't answer a single call. Then he tried new numbers. Even FaceTimed me. It was like playing emotional whack-a-mole. I blocked everything. Riley kept laughing, said I should start charging him by the call. Then Monica texted me, said her dad officially gave Tyler notice. He had until Friday to pay or leave. Apparently, Tyler tried to buy more time by blaming me, saying I sabotaged him. Monica's dad just told him, not my business. Pay or move. So Tyler went into guilt mode, texting everyone he could. Zach messaged me saying Tyler told him I stole from him. Which is total BS, I only took what was mine. I left everything else. I even left receipts. Nina hit me up too. Said Tyler DM'd her asking if she'd vouch for him if Monica's dad asked about payment history. She just sent him a gif of someone laughing. That made my whole night. The only one not picking a side was Jordan, but that's just because he hates drama, not because he's neutral. He messaged me saying I don't want to get involved. Classic Jordan. That's basically his life motto. By Thursday, Monica told me Tyler was in full panic mode. Behind on rent, behind on Wi-Fi, probably behind on all his weird little subscriptions. I still get emails about his old meal kit box. Not my problem. He tried calling Monica's dad again. When that didn't work, he called his mom. She called me again. This time, I picked up. Not because I cared, just because I was that annoyed. She launched into a whole speech about how Tyler messed up but was so lost without me. Said he's not good at life stuff and that I know how he is. I said yeah I do. And I'm not part of this anymore. You need to talk to your son, not me. She started crying a little. It was awkward. I just said goodbye and hung up. Truth is, I think Tyler acts this way because he's always gotten away with it. His parents baby him. His friends either laugh it off or ignore it. And I was just the latest person to carry the weight. He gets loud when he's embarrassed. He jokes when he's nervous. And when that doesn't work, he expects someone else to fix it. I always knew he was lazy. But I didn't realize just how much he leaned on people until I stopped being the one doing it all. Anyway, Friday rolls around. I'm at my new place. It's tiny, honestly a shoebox, but it's mine. I'm eating leftover noodles when I get a text from Monica. Just a thumbs up emoji and he's out. Apparently, Tyler didn't pay, didn't pack half his stuff, just bailed. Monica's dad told him he could come back for the rest, but the locks were changed and he wasn't living there anymore. I asked if he made a scene. Monica said he cried a little, slammed the door, and left. For a second, I almost felt bad. Then I remembered how he stood in that room full of people waving my purse in the air, calling me pathetic. Yeah, I didn't feel bad anymore. And get this, he tried showing up at my new place. Literally knocked on the door. I looked out the window and saw him standing there in a hoodie, holding a plastic grocery bag. I didn't open it. I just texted Riley. She lives in the building next door. She came out, stood on the sidewalk and stared him down until he left. He didn't even try to talk to her. Just turned around and walked away. She texted me. Dude is lost. I blocked his number again just in case. The next day I got a letter in my mailbox. Handwritten, which was wild. Tyler never writes anything unless he has to. It was 3 paragraphs of apologies, excuses, and begging. Said he couldn't do this alone. Said he didn't mean any of it. Said he'd pay me back for everything if I just come back. I ripped it up and threw it away. I didn't even consider replying. So yeah, that's it. Tyler is out. I'm out. Monica's family is already prepping the apartment for new tenants. His parents tried everything, even called my mom again. She ignores them now. Nina said Tyler is couch surfing at Jordan's place. But Jordan's not loving it and is probably gonna kick him out soon. Zach's still trying to stay neutral. But he texted me saying Tyler has been talking about moving back in with his parents. Honestly, I'm just glad it's not me cleaning up after him anymore. And next time someone calls me boring, I'll laugh. Because I'd rather be boring and free than stuck babysitting some guy who thinks he's the star of the show. So yeah, thanks for reading my completely unhinged saga. And if you're reading this and you're the one doing all the emotional labor, the Jenna in your relationship, don't wait around for a big moment of clarity. Just start packing. You'd be amazed how fast the trash takes itself out. Oh, and no, I never called his parents back. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. If Tyler ever wants to get his act together, he can start by learning how to do laundry. Or at the very least, how to pay his own damn rent. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my story.